In this video, I'm going to show you how to get started with creating a simple application in the Android Studio. We're going to get to where we're building apps for phones and tablets, but today we're just working with the foundations of the Java programming language, so we're just going to create a console application. To do this, you're going to start a new Android Studio project. You'll give it an application name. Today we're going to work with strings, so I'm just going to call it My Strings. And the package name will be com.marywinchester.mystrings. I've put my name in as the company domain, and I'd like you to do that for your assignments as well. I'm going to hit next, and I'm just going to leave the defaults for phone and tablet. We won't actually build the code for that because we're going to choose add no activity. I don't need any of this interaction because we're simply working with some of the Java language foundation. That's going to create my project, and it will look like there's nothing here when you first look at the screen. But there is. If you click on project, you'll see it's created a bunch of different files for you already. But we need a specific file for us to add our code into. We don't need any of these right now. We're going to have to create a place to enter code into. We usually do that by adding code to a module. To do that, we're going to go to File, New Module, and we're going to choose Java Library and hit Next. Then we'll give it a library name, and we'll just call it Sample, and the Java class name is My Sample, and we'll hit Finish. So in here we'll now have the module sample, my sample. It may take you a minute to find it. So it's all under sample, and it's my sample. So you'll notice there's a lot of code created, but what we need will be right here. When you double click on it, it gives you the public class my sample. Your class name always has to match the name of the file itself. So since the file is my sample, public class must be named my sample or it won't work. To do anything in Java, you always have to do it inside of a method, and every class must have a main method, and that's written public static void main, and then you pass in string args. And you won't actually have to use much of this. This is just the default. Public means it's available outside of the program. Static is unchanging. Void means nothing returns. Main is the name of the method, and string is the type of arguments that it could take. And then we're going to hit enter and put in our opening parentheses or curly brackets, and I like to, you'll notice when it puts them in, you get the starting and ending one. I hit enter. I don't like this setup. I like this setup. I want my curly brackets to always line up. That helps prevent errors. Now, the most basic thing that we would do would be the Hello World program, but being a Doctor Who fan, I'm going to do system.out.println hello sweetie, and then we'll want to run this. Now, to run this, first we want to save it, and then we're going to want to go to next to the module. We're going to have to edit the configuration, and we're going to have to make this an application. So we're going to create an application, and it's based on what we have done here. So the main class is going to be my sample, and notice that it'll give you the whole path here. And then we also need to choose the module, which is sample. That's right there. And if you see an error, the common error is if this isn't written right, you'll get something that says no main method. then it won't work. So you need to make sure that you have this line right here. If that's all good, you can hit OK. And then we can open the terminal because this is where the results are going to show. And we're going to run it. And it says that I have an error, which is true, I do. I missed my semicolon. I need a semicolon to end that line. So I'm going to run it again. It automatically saved there, otherwise that wouldn't have worked. And this is where my results show. Now we're saving everything up to Git in our version control, so we're going to import into version control. We're going to share our project on GitHub, and it's all logged in with me. Invalid. So we'll just call it my strings and hello sweetie sample program, and I'm going to hit share. I'm going to hit OK, and then I can go out to GitHub. I don't know if I'm still logged in or not. I am. And so I should have, I called it my sample. Let's refresh. Is that it? Yep, 30 seconds ago. Sample, example, my sample, hello sweetie. So that's where our code ends up. It does put in all of the other code. As you can see, everything's out here. So you can just go back to sample. But what we actually need to see as far as grading it is we want to see where your .java file is. So you would copy this URL and hand it in on Canvas.